Robert of Artois. Banished though thou be greater than from France, thy native country, yet with us thou shalt retain as great a seigneury, for we create thee Earl of Richmond here. And now go forwards with our pedigree, who next succeeded Philip le Beau.
3 sons of his, which all successfully did sit upon their father's regal throne, yet died, and left no issue of their loins.
But was my mother sister unto those?
She was, my lord, and only Isabel was all the daughters that this Philip had, whom afterward your father took to wife, and from the fragrant garden of her womb your gracious self, the flower of Europe's hope, derived as inheritor to France. But note the rancor of rebellious minds. When thus the lineage of le Beau was out, the French obscured your mother's privilege, and, though she were the next of blood, proclaimed John, of the house of Valois, now their king. The reason was, they say, the realm of France, replete with princes of great parentage, ought not admit a governor to rule, except he be descended of the male. And that's the special ground of their contempt, wherewith they study to exclude your grace. But they shall find that forged ground of theirs to be but dusty heaps of brittle sand. Perhaps it will be thought a heinous thing, that I, a Frenchman, should discover this, but heaven I call to record of my vows. It is not hate nor any private wrong, but love unto my country and the right, provokes my tongue, thus lavish in report. You are the lineal watchman of our peace, and John of Valois indirectly climbs. What then should subjects but embrace their king? Ah, wherein may our duty more be seen, than striving to rebate the tyrant's pride, and place the true shepherd of our commonwealth.
This counsel, Artois, like to fruitful showers, hath added growth unto my dignity, and, by the fiery vigour of thy words, hot courage is engendered in my breast, which heretofore was raked in ignorance, but now doth mount with golden wings of fame, and will approve fair Isabel's descent, able to yoke their stubborn necks with steel, that spurn against my sovereignty in France. A messenger? Lord Audley, know from whence.
The Duke of Lorraine, having crossed the seas, entreats he may have conference with your highness.
Admit him, lords, that we may hear the news. Say, Duke of Lorraine, wherefore art thou come?
The most renowned prince, King John of France, doth greet thee, Edward, and by me commands, that, for so much as by his liberal gifts, the Guyenne dukedom is entailed to thee, thou to him lowly homage for the same. And, for that purpose, here I summon thee, repair to France within these 40 days, that there, according as the custom is, thou mayst be sworn true liegeman to our king. Or else thy title in that province dies, and he himself will repossess the place.
See, how occasion laughs me in the face. No sooner minded to prepare for France, but straight I am invited. Nay, with threats, upon a penalty, enjoined to come. 'Twere but a childish part to say him nay. Lorraine, return this answer to thy lord, I mean to visit him as he requests. But how? Not servilely disposed to bend, but like a conqueror, to make him bow. His lame unpolished shifts are come to light, and truth hath pulled the visor from his face, that set a gloss upon his arrogance. Dare he command a fealty in me? Tell him, the crown that he usurps is mine, and where he sets his foot, he ought to kneel. This not a petty dukedom that I claim, but all the whole dominions of the realm, which, if with grudging he refuse to yield, I'll take away those borrowed plumes of his, and send him naked to the wilderness.
Then, Edward, hear. In spite of all thy lords, I do pronounce defiance to thy face.
Defiance, Frenchman. We rebound it back, even to the bottom of thy master's throat. And, be it spoke with reverence of the king, my gracious father, and these other lords. I hold thy message but as scurrilous, and him that sent thee, like the lazy drone, crept up by stealth unto the eagle's nest. From whence we'll shake him with so rough a storm, as others shall be warned by his harm.
Bid him leave of the lion's case he wears, least, meeting with the lion in the field, he chanced to tear him piecemeal through his pride.
The soundest counsel I can give his grace is to surrender or he be constrained. A voluntary mischief hath less scorn than when reproach with violence is born. Degenerate traitor, viper, to the place where thou was fostered in thine infancy, bearest thou a part in this conspiracy?
Raigne, behold the sharpness of this steel. Fervent desire that sits against my heart is far more thorny pricking than this blade, that, with the nightingale, I shall be scared, as oft as I dispose myself to rest, until my colours be displayed in France. This is my final answer, so be gone.
It is not that, nor any English brave, afflicts me so, as doth his poisoned view. That is most false, should most of all be true.
Now, Lord, our fleeting bark is under sail, our gage is thrown, and war is soon begun, but not so quickly brought unto an end. But wherefore comes Sir William Montague? How stands the league between the Scot and us?
Cracked and dissevered, my renowned lord. The treacherous king no sooner was informed of your withdrawing of your army back, but straight, forgetting of his former oath, he made invasion on the bordering towns. Berwick is won, Newcastle spoiled and lost, and now the tyrant hath begirt with siege the castle of Roxburgh, where enclosed the Countess Salisbury is like to perish.
That is thy daughter, Warwick, is it not? Whose husband hath in Bretagne served so long about the planting of Lord Mountford there.
It is, my lord.
Ignoble David, hast thou none to grieve but silly ladies with thy threatening arms? But I will make you shrink your snaily horns. First, therefore, Audley, this shall be thy charge, go levy footmen for our wars in France. And, Ned, take muster of our men-at-arms. In every shire elect a several band. Let them be soldiers of a lusty spirit, such as dread nothing but dishonour's blot. Be wary, therefore, since we do commence a famous war, and with so mighty a nation. Derby, be thou ambassador for us unto our father-in-law, the Earl of Henalt. Make him acquainted with our enterprise, and likewise will him, with our own allies that are in Flanders, to solicit to the Emperor of all Maine in our name. Myself, whilst you are jointly thus employed, will, with these forces that I have at hand, march, and once more repulse the traitorous Scot. But, sirs, be resolute, we shall have wars on every side. And, Ned, thou must begin now to forget thy study and thy books, and inure thy shoulders to an armour's weight. As cheerful sounding to my youthful spleen this tumult is of war's increasing broils, as at the coronation of a king, the joyful clamours of the people are, when a Caesar they pronounce aloud. Within this school of honour I shall learn, either to sacrifice my foes to death, or in a rightful quarrel spend my breath. Then cheerfully forward, each a several way, in great affairs there's naught to use delay.